Economics, history, family, social issues, education, religion, government, or national security. Brannon brings the issues of the day into clear focus through the lens of a Judeo-Christian worldview. And now, here is your host, Brannon Howse.
And welcome to the broadcast on this Friday night, April 17th, 2026. Anni Cyrus is going to join us. Dr. Bashima Williams. We're going to talk to Dr. Bashima about how to stop a leaky gut. You know that inflammation, that causes a lot of problems in a lot of ways. And you don't want inflammation. But one way you get is through a leaky gut. So how do you stop leaky gut? We're going to get into that and more with Dr. Bashima. Anni Cyrus is going to join us to talk about a brand new article related to Israel and Lebanon. And what does she make of this opening of the strait and the deal we have temporarily with Iran? How did this happen? A lot of people are celebrating and saying that this is just the strength of America. But here's the question. Did America cave to Iran? Did we give way too much to Iran because we needed an off-ramp when it comes to so much related to the economy and shipping and the global trade routes and whatnot? We'll get into that with Anni Cyrus. I want to also ask her about an article from our mutual friend, Daniel Greenfield. French town accused of Islamophobia suffers goat rape crisis. All right, I don't know, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but I've heard people throw this around as a way to go after Islamists or Muslims and talk about them doing these kinds of things. And you may say, well, that's just people being crude and, being unkind. And maybe they are to those people because those people didn't do that and they don't do that. But how did that get started as a thing that you associate with Islam? Well, I want to ask Anni about that tonight because apparently this is a problem in one French town. And I've heard about this in other places around the world. Why is that a thing? What does the Quran or the Hadiths have to say about that? Okay, we'll get into all that. Look at this. Elon Musk is saying that we need universal, this is today, April 16th, universal high income via checks issued by the federal government is the best way to deal with unemployment caused by AI. AI robots, or robotics, will produce goods and services far in excess of the increase in the money supply, so there will be no inflation. Let's stop and talk about that for a minute, may we please? What is inflation? It's too many dollars chasing too few goods and services. Let me say it again. Inflation, by its definition, is too many dollars chasing too few goods and services. So as the goods and services decrease, they increase in price because more people want them and they'll pay more for them. Supply and demand. Sometimes you have inflation also for other reasons, but that's the general, basic, easy definition of inflation. So he's saying, look, we're not going to have inflation when the government gives what he's now calling universal high income. We won't have inflation when the government does that because while the people may be getting a check or digits in their bank account, the robots will be over here and the robotics will be over here producing the goods, so it won't impact that. And if we don't have a decrease in goods and services, because the robots and robotics are doing the production of goods and services that humans would do, therefore, it won't impact the inflation rate when the government sends out your high income checks, your universal high income checks. Now, I wonder how they're going to define high income. Some of you may go, well, I was making a lot more when I was doing my job. If that's a high income, I'm sorry. I'd rather have my job back. So again, be very leery of these words, high income. By who defines that term, universal high income? Number two, how is this not socialism? Number three, how are you going to avoid people getting a check who don't deserve a check. I don't think anyone deserves a check. But what if you say, okay, well, there are people who have lost their job due to the fact that the robots have come in, taken their job. Well, how do you know that? How are you going to validate that someone has lost their job to AI or to a robot or robotics? How do you know they're not just choosing to get on the public dole and using that as an excuse? You see how this opens the door to all kinds of problems? We don't need this. Logan and I have been talking about this for some time. I told you the story. I saw a movie the other day, an older movie that was it was an old movie from the early 90s, and it was portraying somebody that was washing clothes with a washboard and a bucket. And I said to my wife, that's interesting. I wonder how many people were complaining about the electric washing machine when it came along. Oh, the washing machine, these electric or automatic washing machines, all these people have lost their job that were paid to wash clothes with a washboard. I'm sure some people complained about it. And you can go on down the line where jobs that we do today is done by technology and advancements in technology. And no one does those jobs really because they're not needed. What have I said? Look, am I saying that some people aren't going to lose their job to AI? Yeah, some people will lose their job. But there will always be a way for the free market system to work its way out. Someone's going to have to repair the robotics and the robots. Someone's going to have to do something. The question is, are you going to duck and weave with the economy? And a lot of people won't duck and weave. Are people willing to do 2 or 3 jobs? No, most people will not be willing to do 2 or 3 jobs. But there you go. I thought that was an interesting tweet today by Elon Musk. I played this today on radio. I got to play it again. It's so disturbing. I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of JD Vance. I'm not a fan of JD Vance. Okay. And if you want to be, that's good for you. No problem. I have friends that love JD Vance. They want him to be the next president. I'm not going to stop being friends with them. But they like JD Vance. I think someone wanted to be president and they like to get in his administration. Well, good luck with that, but whatever. I'm not for JD Vance for a lot of reasons. His association with a lot of people, not to mention, Logan, can you pull up some of the things he said about Donald Trump? I mean, we can criticize policies, all right? I do. We can criticize. I told you I was going to do that from day one. I'm going to call balls and strikes when I agree with him. I'm going to tell you that's great. Great job. Thank you, Mr. President. Which, by the way, great job, Mr. President. Thank you for taking on Pope Leo. I think he's a commie pope. Take on Pope Leo all you want. I'm not going to criticize him for that. In fact, I'm going to thank him for it. Expose the guy all you can for what he is. I think he's a progressive, neo-Marxist, Marxist commie. That's my opinion. I also don't think he knows diddly squat about the Bible. But he could prove me wrong. Come on the show live and we'll talk about theology and doctrine and have a debate. I don't think he can keep up with me because I don't think the guy knows the Bible. That's not bragging. I've spent a lot of years studying the Bible, as have many of you. We're called to study the Bible. We're called to be individuals who can rightly divide the word of truth. A workman who needeth not be ashamed, rightfully dividing the word of truth. You've labored to do that. I've labored to do that. That's not bragging. It's fact. Can we learn more? Yes. Do we need to learn more? Yes, we do. But we've learned a lot over many years, many of us, and we can have a conversation about the Bible. And I don't think he can do that. I don't think he could teach the Bible or have a conversation with me about the Bible and keep up or explain it in context. That's not bragging. It's just fact. And isn't that what Rush Limbaugh used to say? Well, it's not bragging if it's true. But if Pope Leo wants to come on here, he's welcome. But I appreciate Donald Trump taking on Pope Leo because I think Pope Leo is a real problem. So I applaud President Trump in a lot of ways, and I disagree in a lot of ways. Now, what Vance was doing before he got on the Trump train out of pragmatic political reasons, I believe, was not criticizing President Trump based on merit. Right, Logan? Are you listening tonight, Logan?
Yeah.
You have a clip. All right. One of them, let's play it. So I criticize on fact. Okay, I critique on fact. JD was saying things about Mr. Trump that I'm like, that's stupid to say that about him. It's wrong. It's not factual. I'm like, why did this guy ever get picked? I tried again to be a team player. All right, I'll go along. I held my tongue. I'm done holding my tongue. And then he's also surrounded by all the Palantir boys. And praising Carl, what's the guy's name? Jurgen. What's Jurgen's first name? Carl Jurgen, or what's his name, Logan? Curtis. I knew it was Curtis Yarvin. Thank you. Okay, play this one, Logan. Let's see what you got.
And so one of the takeaways is not just that the Republican Party base is somehow fundamentally flawed in a way that's unique in American political history. It's that Trump is a really bad candidate and, frankly, I think a really bad person.
Well, there you go. How he got picked, I don't know, but apparently Don Jr. and Tucker Carlson pushed him on Trump, right, Logan? Didn't he call Trump or compare Trump to Hitler, Logan? He's America's Hitler. Where is that? Do we have? See if you can put that into Grok or something and find that. So all that being said, I gave the guy a chance the same way I gave Pete Hegseth a chance. I am not a fan of JD. Well, JD went to some event last night with Turning Point and listen to what JD Vance had to say here, folks. Here we go. Oh, I got audio somewhere else. That sounded like Islam, didn't it, Logan? That's an Islamic video playing in the back. Oh, yeah, that's... where is that coming from? Where is that coming from, Logan? That's an Islamic video coming from somewhere. All right, let's see. I'm going to close that. Which one? Right there. All right, I'm going to close that one. All right, now I'm going to go to JD. All right, here's JD. This was last night at a Turning Point event. Here we go.
Who are some of the conservative influencers or the political influencers today? And there are a few people that I look to who I think have very, very smart and wise spiritual wisdom. I mean, like I think Andrew and Blake and the podcast that they have at TPUSA is amazing. I listen to it all the time. I think it's great. You know, I think if you want a good laugh, I love Theo Von. Like, he's one of my favorite. I think he's just incredible. And he's got one of these senses of humor where, like, 30% of the time it goes completely over my head, and 70% of the time he's the funniest person imaginable. But I think Theo has a good heart, and that's one of the reasons why I really like listening to his show.
Okay, so Theo Von goes over the vice president's head 30% of the time. Wow. Do you guys know who Theo Von is, Logan? I know you do. Do you think our audience does? Is there a clip we can play where he's not dropping the F word of Theo? Okay, I don't mean to be unkind to Theo, but Theo is not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Something isn't right with that boy. He is not a bright kid, in my opinion. I always have to throw that in there, in my opinion. He looks like, he's not a kid. He looks like he's in his 20s, but he's like in his 50s, right, Logan? 46. He is not a bright person. Okay, so if the vice president of the United States says that he goes over his head about 30% of the time, whoo, wow, we got a real problem with the intellect of the vice president. So as I said on radio today, pray Donald Trump stays in good health and finishes out his term. Why would you be praising and encouraging young kids to listen to Theo Von? Didn't Joe Rogan tell him there's something wrong with him? There's something wrong with you? Why? Theo Von is, why would you encourage young people to listen to this kid, this guy? Plus, I got stuff today from the New York Post I showed about anti-Semitism, anti-Semitic remarks. Why is the vice president of the United States promoting these kind of people? It's really troubling and bothersome. Logan, do you have anything of Theo Von? Oh, you're just now, I can get something too if you haven't. I mean, I don't know what to play off the cuff because he drops a lot of bad words. Let's see. Let's see. All right, here we go. Let's try this one, Logan.
We don't know what it's like when you die. Here's the thing. It's so good, I bet it's so good, nobody's coming back from it. There was a couple ghosts, I think, that came back allegedly from the 1700s or whatever. Apparently they fixed heaven up because nobody's been coming back. Name the last ghost you even heard about. Ray Charles maybe, or somebody, I don't even know who. I mean, he's not a ghost. I mean, he's blind, but that's not a ghost. A ghost is if you can't see them. So he's like a reverse ghost.
Is he supposed to be funny, Logan? That's who your vice president watches, likes, and recommends, but can't understand 30% of the time. Wow. Now, this is where I say, God save America again, right? All right, let's see what else we got. I dealt with it today earlier on my broadcast and in my Worldview Report commentary. You got to go and watch and read my new commentary on Tucker Carlson saying, so when Moses goes up a second time to Mount Sinai and says to God, please kill me, these people, Jews, are too annoying. I can't deal with it. Is that anti-Semitism? End quote. Well, that's completely out of context, turned upside down, on its head, scripture out of context. If you didn't hear my show today, you should watch it. If you haven't read my article about this, you should read it at worldviewtimes.com. I won't repeat it here. All right, let's see. What else do we got before we go to Anni Cyrus? Let's see here. I knew there was something I wanted. Oh, yeah. Look at this. I came across this picture today, guys. Logan, have you ever done that in school? No? Okay, are you on the microphone? Okay, that's from the 19...
I have never done that in school, no.
Okay, that's from the 1970s. Do you know how many times your dad did that?
I've only seen it in movies.
You've only seen it in movies. Well, I don't have to repeat what you're saying. They can hear you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Thank you. Well, let me tell you something. When I was a kid, they used to have these ropes hanging from the ceiling of a gymnasium. And we had maybe a 3-inch, 4-inch mat below us. Like a 3-4-inch mat is going to do anything when you fall from, the ceiling of the gymnasium. That's really up there. I mean, we're in elementary school and we were climbing ropes. We used to have a athletic guy. He was former military. Some of these guys were former military. They could climb those ropes, Logan, hand over hand and never use their legs to climb up. Have you ever seen one do that, Logan? You've never? Well, these guys could do it. But can you believe there was a day and time when we would actually climb ropes to the top of the ceiling with a 3-inch mat below us? Could you see them doing that today? Are you on the mic or not? Are you not wanting to participate in the show tonight, Logan?
I'm doing something, giving something to Max. They definitely would not do that today.
No, they would not. Have you seen some of the jungle equipment we used to play on?
No.
Oh, wow. Well, we used to play on some pretty scary jungle equipment. They would never do today what we do then. And it was jungle equipment, and underneath it would be like, I don't know, mulch at best. Jungle equipment 1970s. Let me show you what I used to play on. They just wouldn't do it anymore. Let's see if I can find anything real quick. Jungle equipment. Let's say playground. Maybe that's the word to use. Playground. Playground equipment 1970s. Well, you'd think that would have been something you could easily find. Playground equipment from the 1970s. That shouldn't be so hard. Oop, spell it right, House. All right, let's see here.
Here you go.
You got some? Yeah. That's not the 70s.
Says playground from the 70s.
Well, that stuff is. Yeah, that stuff is. Here's another one, Logan. Yep, yeah. That's right. Can you imagine a 4-year-old falling off there onto the asphalt below?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this. Here's one we used to do. Look at that one I got, Logan. And some of the stuff was up there. We used to have one that looked like a rocket ship, Logan. You'd climb up there and you'd get in it, and it was like a rocket ship, and you got up on top of it. This is one. I don't know if they do that. Do they have these anymore, Logan?
Some. Not really.
Well, we used to get those things going around and around as fast as we could. Oh, kids would go flying off of there. But of course, remember, Logan, we also ran around in cars with no seat belts, or if they did, we didn't wear them. You know that when I was growing up, your grandparents had a station wagon, and at the very back of the station wagon, maybe look it up. The very back, yeah. That's right. Right there I was talking about, Logan. Good job. The very back of the station wagon would have seats. And you'd get in the station wagon back seats, they would flip up. You could leave them down, or you could flip them up and they would become little benches in the back. If you wanted to flip them down, look. This is a more modern, this is not a 1970s one, but this gives you an idea. Look at this one. Look at that. That's 1980s.
Car was my old family car in the 80s, early.
Okay, but I'm talking about the 70s. We used to have them do that. And you could sit back there. Can you imagine a crashing, getting rear-ended? Kids are gone. Kids are toast. But in the 1970s, and the viewers know what I'm talking about, you'd sit back there for hours on family trips with these seats that would flip up like that. And you could push them down. Yeah, that's it, brother. That's it. Now you shove those things down and it just becomes a place to put your luggage. You'd sit back there for hours on the family trip. Yeah, that's right there. No seat belts. Look at that. No seat belts. We used to, you know what else we used to do, Logan? We used to ride our bikes without any helmets. Yeah, you never wore a helmet. It shows, Logan. That's a joke, folks. Come on. My parents actually had a station wagon that looked like pretty close to that. The wood paneling station wagon. Yep. Your grandparents had one of those backs? How long do they keep it? I mean, what are they doing keeping a car like that? Oh, not when you were alive. Okay, you've seen pictures. Okay, say why are your grandparents keeping a car around like that? Particularly living in Germantown. Let's see. Anyway, I don't know how we got onto this, Logan. We're talking about climbing ropes to the top of this gymnasium and all the things we used to do. It's amazing we're even alive. All right, I got one more for you before we go to Annie. Let's see here. I saw this today. I thought this was pretty funny. You ready for this, Logan? Okay, here we go. Listen to this. Why this gal became a cop in a small town and what it really turned out to be.
Listen, when I signed up to be the police, I thought things would be different.
The police, Logan, when she signed up to be the police.
When I signed up to be the police, I thought things would be different. Thought it would be more solving crimes and chasing bad guys and high-speed pursuits, rolling over the hood of a car like in the movies. Maybe not that, but you know what I'm saying. But no, that's not my reality. My reality is things like, there's a goat out on Main Street. Can you go put the goat up on Main Street? Or Meemaw called in 911, her cable's out and she can't watch Judge Judy, Lord forbid. Or Dale over on 3rd Street wants to file a police report because his neighbor's cat's in the window and won't quit staring at him with demonic intent. What even is that, Dale? He's got a lazy eye. Go back in your house and shut the blinds. Stop staring at him. And then there's nothing like going to your local gas station. Everybody's real nice normally, all telling you how much they appreciate your service. You're trying to be humble, but you're sweaty from chasing the goat. And your vest smells like pepper spray and regret. So then there's that. But if you need somebody to come get your drunk cousin off of a John Deere tractor at 2 o'clock in the morning in the middle of deer season while dodging flying boots and him telling you that you're violating his constitutional rights, I'm your girl. Give me a call and I'll come running. Oh man, God bless small towns. and God help me.
I wasn't anticipating the pink fingernails there. Yeah, the pink fingernails with the tattoos. I wasn't expecting her to be a pink fingernail gal. You know what? If she wants to, hopefully she, in that small town, lives where she could drive over to a bigger city. She could do stand-up comedy on the weekend. Unless, of course, that's her shift. Anyway, she became one of the police. Or as they call them over in Memphis, the popo. All right. I didn't plug hardly anything last night until after 2.5 hours. I gave 2.5 hours of stimulating content, Logan, and didn't plug anything to the very end. And it showed. I noticed donations last night were like, so that was a big mistake on my part. So we'll have to rectify that now. So please go to worldviewfoundation.com and make a contribution if you would, please. Contributions yesterday were like a historic low. $82 yesterday, Logan. 82 whopping dollars yesterday. You would think after 2.5 hours of that content last night, they would have been running to the computers to contribute something, right? I checked this morning to see what happened last night. $82 for the whole day. Okay, folks, we can't keep doing that. So please go to worldviewfoundation.com and make a contribution. Worldviewfoundation.com. We sure appreciate your support. You also find our mailing address there if you prefer to support us through the mail. And of course, remember all the great sponsors. Yeah, the dog food company canceled us, Logan. They're gone. They're gone. I don't believe the reason they gave when they canceled us, but they're gone. Do you believe it, Logan? No, they're gone. All right. We weren't buying ads anywhere. We weren't buying Google ads or anything anywhere, were we? No. We don't do that. But anyway, there you go. Easy come, easy go. I had a conversation with a company yesterday for an hour and a half about starting our own dog food company. You know? So take them apples. Maybe we'll just start our own dog food company. I got another conversation with another guy over in Nashville. So I'm not giving up on the idea of maybe starting our own dog food. Let's see. You'll find it all worldviewtalk.com, worldviewtalk.com. Get your satellite phone, your solar generator, bulletproof backpack. It's all there. Bella Grace, I take it each and every day, sometimes twice a day. The very powerful elixir, 3 powerful ingredients. The Worldview Gold, put gold into your. In fact, you know what? I just got a text right now, Logan, from our friend that knows the guy that has the dog food company over in Nashville. What are the odds of that, Logan? While I'm talking about it, I get the text from him. You think he's watching the show? Maybe. So there you go. I'll let you guys know about that. We're always working on something over here. Apparently, he has a dog food company over in Nashville that meets our specifications and qualifications. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know where it'll go. But he just texted me right now. Maybe we'll get another dog food company in here and we can provide good dog food for dogs and we can make some support along the way. Worldviewgold.com. Put gold into your IRA. Take custody of it. Find out all about it. Worldviewgold.com. Worldviewgold.com. Water filters, Gatatana. I drink that every night with my dinner. Worldview vitamins, Worldview Healthcare, Swish for Life. That's the new me. That's the new me that has the glutathione to detox your cells. And everybody needs their cells detoxed. I'll tell you that. Toxins everywhere. Some studies show that glutathione may remove mercury from your brain, helping prevent Alzheimer's, dementia, or Parkinson's. What was I just talking about, Logan? Dementia and Alzheimer's. I'm just joking. All right. We got a lot to do tonight. I don't know why I'm in such a good mood because I'm exhausted, Logan. I'm tired. It's been a long week. Why do we do this 5 nights a week? I should ask the audience if they think I should pull a Johnny Carson and just start doing Monday through Thursday. Did you know Johnny Carson used to do that for years? After many years, he finally said, I'm going to do Monday through Thursday. And he was off Friday, guest host. I wonder if I should start doing that, Logan. Monday through Thursday, then I get Friday off because I spend all day Saturday and Sunday studying for my church service Sunday night. So that would actually give me one day off. What do you think? Maybe you should take over Friday nights, Logan. Why don't you start guest hosting Friday nights? We should definitely do something to give the old man a break every now and then. I think I am going to take off, though, next weekend for my birthday. Oh, did I tell you my birthday's next week? Thank you, Jeb. Happy early birthday to me. Thank you, Jeb. You're very kind. Yeah, next Sunday, a week from this Sunday, the 26th of April. So I'm going to take off a couple of days. Why are you laughing, guys? What are you laughing about? Oh, you are all now going to wish me happy early birthday? Are you afraid one of the control room guys is going to get it up over on you? Okay. Huh? Yeah, he was too quick, wasn't he? Okay, well, duly noted. Jeb has wished me happy birthday. Max has wished me happy birthday. Where's Thomas? Where'd he go? Oh, all right. All right, well, duly noted, Jeb and Max. Oh, thank you, Logan. He said happy birthday, too. Wow. I just feel the love. But I think I am going to take next Thursday and Friday off, Logan. I think I deserve it, to be honest with you. If we bring in $82 a day on donations, if that becomes a regular, we may be taking off more than Thursday and Fridays. Worldview weekend. We're only here 2 days a week. The donations are so low. Well, that's not normally the case. I was really shocked. They've actually been really good. We're having a very good year with the foundation. But I don't know what happened yesterday. I'll tell you that one. I was like, what? Is that a computer glitch? Anyway, but I think I am going to take Thursday and Friday off next week, Logan, for my birthday. You're going to take me out to dinner? Maybe. Oh, wow. Maybe. All right. All right. Well, there you go. Back to the sponsors. There they all are. There they all are. All right. We got to get going. Annie's in the waiting room waiting. Let's get going. Joining me now is Anni Cyrus. Annie, Logan just told me that. What was it, Logan? You just told me to get on the mic.
Truck crashed in Knoxville carrying 1 million bees.
That's going to be a problem, right?
Yeah.
Hey, the new kid in the control room, he just laughed at that, right? Yeah, he laughs at, I've noticed he laughs at a lot of my jokes. Logan, make a note to self. Keep him around. Jeb, Thomas, you guys better start taking note. The new kid laughs at all my jokes, all my dad jokes. He laughs at them. He loves dad jokes. Right answer, young man. That.
Explain what all the buzz is about.
Someone said, explain what all the buzz is about. Oh, wow. I don't know. We could do a lot of puns on this one. Why would you be traveling with 1 million bees? Do you remember that? Remember that time we were headed over to Arkansas? You maybe be too young, Logan. We headed over to Arkansas. We pulled off on the side of the road to let the weather go by because there was a bad storm going through. And so we stopped to let it pass. And we pulled in right behind a guy that had an 18-wheeler. And he had all of these cages, boxes on the back of his 18-wheeler covered in tarps. And we got out to stretch and walk around, and we started noticing all these bees flying around, a few bees flying around his truck. And I said to him, what are you carrying? He said, bees. And I bet you he had 1 million bees because it was an 18-wheeler from front to back. Do you remember that? I didn't think you would. Yeah, he was carrying bees. Well, anyway, Annie, welcome. Glad you're with us.
I am glad to be back and glad I am not nowhere near that truck.
Yeah. All right. Glad you're with us, honey.
You guys are funny.
Yeah, we're trying to be. It's Friday. Let's see. All right.
Wait, is it Friday?
I know.
I forgot it's Friday.
I know, right? Let's see. What do I want to play for you tonight? I have a video. I thought, oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Is this true? This is supposedly the Islamic Republic is now placing women and children onto cars mounted with machine guns. Is this true?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, they are putting children, women, girls, everybody.
Jeb.
Everybody's
Look,
armed up,
Jeb.
ready.
There's some beautiful ladies for you, Jeb. They are armed. Look at that. Look at that one right there, Logan. Or Jeb, there's one for you. Look at her. What's that? I know. Can you imagine that? He said, can you imagine that rolling outside your house? Yeah, absolutely. Look at her. I mean, she's got her hand on the trigger, both of them. They're ready to go.
They're bunch of trigger ready.
They
trigger
are.
happy, I guess. Yes.
Now, are these women doing this of their own free will? Or are they for children? Are they doing this of their
That's
own
a little
free will?
girl, actually.
That was a little girl?
Yes, that's a little girl.
Are they dancing? Were they dancing to that music?
They are chanting and what you would call, it's more of a chant, but yes, kind of moving to the rhythm.
They're not supposed to dance, are they?
That's why I say it's not necessarily a dance, it's just, moving to the rhythm.
Okay.
Well, Islamic Republic of Iran has broken some of their really red lines, including playing one of the most famous Lebanese singers' concert live. She wasn't there physically, but they were streaming the concert live in the middle of Tehran.
Now,
Yes, they did that.
Are these women being forced to do this, or are they doing this willingly?
I can't, both. It's both. Some are willingly doing it. Some are not so willingly doing it. Some are forced to do it. Yes, but well, not to try to brush it off, but in comparison to a country of 90 million, and that's not a big crowd you see there.
Yes.
I mean, they did a good job with their camera work, but maybe there are like 100 of them, 120.
All right, let's talk about, you have a new piece out. I wanted to show that. I thought of you when I saw it. I got to get Annie's. Oh, wait, I got to get your response to this too. Elmo's lost his mind, apparently. Here we go. Here's the latest, I guess. Is this Sesame Street doing this? Here we go.
Salam alaikum, everyone. I'm Rami Youssef.
Oh, it's Elmo. Mr. Rami, what does salam alaikum mean?
Well, salam means peace, and it's a way to say hello in Arabic.
Oh, cool. Oh, salam alaikum, everybody.
Elmo and I are here to wish all of you a happy Arab American Heritage Month.
Yeah, happy Arab American Heritage Month.
I'm so proud of my Arab heritage, and I'm so happy to share this month with my fellow Arabs and Elmo. So, thanks, Habibi.
Oh, wait a minute. What's Habibi?
Oh, it's an Arabic word for a special friend.
Really? Well, happy Arab American Heritage Month, Habibi. We love you.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
I
God.
guess you're going to have to stop watching Elmo, Jeb.
Or just be
He
selective.
said that's how he goes to sleep at night, is watching Elmo. That's his safe space.
selective
That's
on
his
which
safe, that's his
episodes.
safe space, Elmo and his iPad.
And Elmo seemed to be very smart. His repeating those Arabic words very good.
He was.
Right?
He's a smart learner.
Right. Quick learner like me when it comes to languages. Well,
You think Elmo would let me come on and talk about some of my favorite Bible verses and quote those on Sesame Street?
No. And I love the packaging. Today I've been just constantly talking about packaging, branding, and rebranding in a political way. And I love it's the Arab. We don't talk about the Islam at all. It's just the Arab month, right? Arab Heritage Month and all of that.
So they've gotten rid of the word Muslim or Islamic, right?
Yes, but the question is why do we need Arab Heritage Month in America? That would be my first question of why Arab Heritage Month in America.
Because that's that's part of multiculturalism, which is not the study and celebration of multiple cultures. Multiculturalism is really a denigration of the Western culture. So they need to bring in which denigrates and diminishes the Western culture, but do it in the name of celebrating multiple cultures, because that's the goal of multiculturalism, the denigration of the Western culture.
But the question remains the same. If we're talking equality, if we say racism only goes away if we don't address race, then why are we constantly highlighting
race?
A race.
Well, that's just one of many contradictions. That's just one of many. But you rightly pointed out.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Let me plug my book, The Propaganda Jihad.
I have your book
Chapter
here.
of Propaganda Jihad. This is exactly what I point out. gradually every show, every network, every movie, every award is what propaganda is pushed. Propaganda is pushed. You know, they come on the stage claiming us, the poor minorities. They want equal rights for minority groups, but they're majority enough to have a Heritage Month in America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. What else do I have for you?
I have a question. Are we going to have a Persian Heritage Month in America?
We don't.
That
have
would be
one
way
already?
more. No, we don't. And I think that would be way more relevant because Persian heritage has played a role in America from day one.
Mm.
You know, even Cyrus the Great's life, the biography of Cyrus the Great and the chapters of Cyrus Cylinder played a role when it came to writing the Constitution. Thomas Jefferson literally read that book 3 times
By
while
Cyrus?
they were deciding. Not by Cyrus, the life of Cyrus, which also has the chapters of the Cyrus Cylinder, which is known to be the first Declaration of Human Rights. Thomas Jefferson read that book 3 times based on what I've heard. 3 times to make his decision on some of the articles of our Constitution. So I think Persian heritage would play a better role in American history, huh?
Well, which is why the Shah, I guess, could borrow from our Constitution so easily when he was in power, right?
Well, if it would be technical, we borrowed from Persian Constitution. Shah brought it back from its own history.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it's kind of this pretty much, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why his son today, Crown Prince Pahlavi, gets on the stage and say, can you imagine Iran that goes from death to America to God bless America? Because he knows he can do it. All he needs to do is bring back the Constitution of Persia under Cyrus the Great that ran through so many dynasties until we got to Qajar dynasty. They ruined it. And then Pahlavi brought it back, and then Islamic Republic completely burned it down.
All right, speaking of the Islamic Republic, what do you make? The Strait is open again, Annie, and we have a ceasefire while they negotiate. Give us your latest thoughts on what's going on with Iran and the Strait before we move to Israel and Lebanon.
Well, a Strait was never closed, but now it's fully open. It was partially closed, and now it's fully open. And of course it is. On my latest Substack that came out this morning, I pointed out that though we want to take the win, well, of course it's open. They put their conditions on the table. We met them. They opened the Strait. And on my Substack, I put all the screenshots of everybody's tweet from Pakistan to Iran to Trump, and connecting the dots is easy.
Okay, now where on your Substack is it? Here's the one you wrote.
Scroll down.
It's in this one?
Yes, right there. If you scroll down, we start with the announcement that says Lebanon is part of this ceasefire.
Okay.
Then we go with a video of her saying it's not part of it. Lebanon is not part of it. Then we go to Araqchi saying it had to be part of it. The ball is now in U.S. court. Decide. Then Trump says this still has nothing to do with Lebanon. But then we did make a deal with Lebanon, the ceasefire, and Araqchi said thank you. Since Lebanon got the ceasefire that we requested, now Strait is open. Simple as that. We delivered on their command and demands. So anybody, as you're doing your victory dances and throwing your celebration parties that, you know, strength, we scared them to opening the Strait, we delivered on what they demanded, which was a ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel. And that's the key part. When I said I was all day, I've been talking about rebranding and repackaging. You want to tell me, Brandon, when did Lebanon, the government of Lebanon and Israel, when did they need a ceasefire? There was never a fight between them.
Right. It's Hezbollah that's inside Lebanon.
Exactly. But guess how nicely we do a political cover and wrap it as Lebanon-Israel ceasefire. How do you get a ceasefire for a war that never happened?
Yeah, I asked Aaron about that today. I had Aaron on from Israel. And I said, wait a minute, isn't this battle really between Hezbollah, the terrorist group, the Iranian proxy in that country of Lebanon, and between your country, Israel? It's not really a war with the people in government of Lebanon, is it? And he said, no, exactly. He said there are Hezbollah members that have bullied their way into the government, but they're bullies and they're a problem for most Lebanese as well.
Well, here's where the problem gets deeper. On your show, about, I'm going to say, maybe 4 months ago or so, I reported that, and you can easily find us online, that United States of America gave millions of dollars to Lebanese government to disarm Hezbollah. Right? Do you remember that?
I do. Mm-hmm.
So we funded the government of Lebanon to disarm Hezbollah. Then that very government came back to Washington, D.C. and negotiated a ceasefire for Hezbollah. I would like to know, if I'm not wrong, it was $20 or $22 million we gave them. I would like to have that $22 million back now. I mean, I got taxes to pay. And I need a new laptop. But that's why I write what I write. These are the little things that normally my fellow Americans tend to forget and not connect. So I connect those dots for them. If this government is anti-Hezbollah, and if we're funding them to disarm Hezbollah, why is this government sitting at a table negotiating a ceasefire for Hezbollah while we gift wrap it in? It's a separate deal, separate discussion. But if we would name it, which is the Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire, then everybody automatically be like, oh, so Strait is open because you gave in to demand of IRGC. Not that hard to follow, but again, our media and our government is very good at manipulating terminology. And again, most Americans probably don't even know we gave government money to stop Hezbollah. They think Hezbollah is the government, which technically, by definition, they have very, very high control of the government. But these are the times where I say, pay attention, follow the money. Why is Trump administration wasting, I think, again, $20 or $22 million of taxpayers' money to fund a government that prefers to get a ceasefire for Hezbollah instead of disarming Hezbollah? So that's my take on all ceasefires. I call the cake is the 2-week ceasefire. The icing on the cake is the 10-day ceasefire between Hezbollah. Let's call it what it is: Hezbollah and Israel. And specifically on that video clip, Caroline says Lebanon is not part of this ceasefire, but neither Netanyahu or Trump are interested to even adding it to this ceasefire. But 2 days later, we came out and said we're hosting a mediation for Israel and Lebanon.
In D.C.
In D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, President Trump comes out and says, I want to reassure you this has nothing to do with that deal, but we're going to make Lebanon great again, too. Arashi comes out to say, well, thanks for the ceasefire in Lebanon. I will open the Strait of Hormuz. Come on. Am I the only one?
So where do you see this going? Is it going to hold? Are we back? We're back to that same question we always ask. Is this going to hold?
Well, is Trump going to continue giving them what they want? Of course. And I can literally visibly see some of your audience are screaming at their TV right now. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of emails. But let's call it what it is. So far, President Trump have met every demand from IRGC.
Now, he is saying no. Trump just told CBS News the Iranian regime has agreed to allow U.S. personnel to enter Iran to collect and extract leftover uranium.
Okay. What is that? Can you phrase that in an achievement way for me?
So do you believe that the U.S. will actually be able to enter Iran and collect and extract leftover uranium? That's what we're being told. Will it happen?
Again, depends. Is Trump going to meet the other side of this agreement that Trump isn't talking about, but the Iranian regime is? Which is we're going to unfreeze $20 billion of their assets.
Okay, let's talk about the $20 billion. Yes, because that's been all over the news today. Tell our audience about the $20 billion.
Oh, well, again, Trump is saying that's not true. But unfortunately, at this given moment, I trust him not, because he's going to do it and package it differently like he did with Lebanon. But from what I have gathered, the agreement is we will take the leftover, well, the exact phrasing is the leftover uranium, enriched uranium of the locations we dropped the B2s at. We're going to pick those up. In return, we're going to unfreeze $20 billion on frozen assets of Islamic Republic of Iran. Now, why am I emphasizing on pay attention to the phrasing? We will pick up the leftover enriched uranium of the locations we dropped our B2s at. The reason that's important is that does not include the over 400 kilograms of enriched uranium the agency is looking for. So again, if we think we're playing 3D chess, as I said before on your show or my show, the Iranian regime is playing backgammon with 187 extra moves accessible than chess. They're not agreeing to give us all of it. Even Trump phrased it that way. I think he said we're going to pick up the debris of what we dropped, if you look at his truth. So we're not getting all of their enriched uranium. But even that little portion that I said, there's no phrasing it in a victorious way. But okay, even if that's somehow a win for someone, in return, we're agreeing to unfreeze $20 billion of frozen assets. That is enough for IRGC, Hezbollah, and Hamas to regroup and come back on their feet in a week. As I said to someone on my Facebook, so we're taking what? We're taking one weapon and giving them 25 in return? That's a good win.
All right. So what else did you want to tell our audience tonight before we let you go?
One thing is more on a spiritual level. Try to understand what is happening rather than constantly trying to think how the alternative would be worse. The alternative isn't here. Alternative isn't causing the problem. So if you're constantly going to give a free pass to your guy because you know somehow the alternative would be worse, I want you to think of Christians in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Iran. Can you imagine if they would follow your pattern? And thinking the alternative would be death, they would be what? All give up on Jesus? Is that what we're going to do in America? So we avoid, because I know a lot of people are concerned with the midterm and the 28. So they're like, let's not talk about the negative so we don't lose vote. We can't encourage people to not vote. That is covering up for the sin. And that's going to come back to haunt you even worse. It's sometimes it's hard to admit we made a mistake, but guess what? We're humans. We make mistakes. So please connect the dots. If you can't connect them, use sources like Brannon and myself and Sharon and Hediye to connect them. And stop celebrating your own demise, please. We are at a point where Pakistan is our middleman. Think about that, Brannon.
I know, right?
We are negotiating and celebrating results and outcomes with people who put their 10-year-old, I sent you the video a few days ago, Brannon, the 10-year-old boy at a checkpoint. How can you celebrate any progress with these people? And then, of course, I want to take everybody's attention as we get closer to June 12th. Please learn what is coming. Study even if you don't want to know anything about World Cup, that's okay. But learn it for this one. Because it's not going to be just in the cities these events are taking place. America is going to be dramatically exposed for almost 40 days.
And you're exposed to the potential of a terrorist attack because of all the folks coming into the country.
Well, it's more than that. So let me take a few minutes to say, if we just look at the terrorist attack part of it, it's not just who are coming into the U.S. It's the open, fast-paced travel between U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Brannon, you talked about it on your show. Canada is filled with IRGC.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, we don't need to talk about cartel. There is no possible potential way for U.S. to monitor these borders as 2 million people go to Canada for a game. A day later, they're in Mexico. 3 days later, they're back in America. How do you make sure every 2 million, one of them are the same people who left America? Especially when we can't even pronounce half of their names. That is the biggest danger. But beyond that, this event is going to attract, and again, it's been historically proven. I'm working on putting a giant expose out on it. But when there's a big sporting event, especially international one, traffickers are in business. Be so mindful of your kids. They want to go to these games. They want to go to the after parties. They want to go watch it with their friends. They will be extremely vulnerable. Based on our own Homeland Security, every time there's an event like this, sometimes even Super Bowl, the trafficking of drugs and humans triple in numbers. Brannon, triple in numbers. Can you imagine the level of drug trafficking and human trafficking could possibly potentially happen in America from June 10th to July 22nd? And let's bring it home. The heart of this is 4th of July, the 250th birthday of America. This isn't about spreading fear. Please understand, to your audience. This is about this one time you need to do your homework and you need to do your part. Maybe nothing happens, but if it does, and you absolutely have no idea what to do with it, then me and Brannon, we've been talking about this World Cup for 6 months, but now we're closing in. So pay attention. Don't be naive. Don't be passive. It's okay if you don't like soccer, but that has nothing to do with what's coming.
100% agree. 100% agree. Let me show you what the Islamists are doing in, I think this is in the Sudan. In the Sudan, the Islamists are making the Christians dig their own grave, we're being told, and then burying them alive.
Yes.
والظلم آخره يفضي إلى الندم واحذر أخي من المظلوم دعوته إلى الندم لا تأخذنك أخي من المظلوم دعوته لا تأخذنك سهام الليل في الظلم عليك وعين الله لم تنم.
What do you know about that, Annie?
Again, taking it back to my Substack, as you know, I've been covering the situation in Sudan plenty. I want to say probably 4 or 5 days ago, I received some videos that they are changing methods that inside Sudan. And one of the methods is what you just showed. But unfortunately, I have also received information that they are taking the kids of families after killing their parents in front of them. They're taking them now as, let's say, they call them wives, but as their sex slaves.
Sex slaves.
So yes, Boko Haram is repeating in Sudan now.
And yet this is pretty well not being talked about on most media outlets, right?
Absolutely not. No, Sudan. That's why I started covering Sudan months ago, because, you know, it is so heartbreaking. It is so sad what's happening there. And it's, you know, once in a while, there's a report that Trump administration is going to do something about it, but then nothing happens. They're facing pain around the clock. There are those who pray for their death rather than waiting for the next day and see what's going to come at them. But I'm sure every single person in Sudan just misunderstood the Quran, because it's all about peace and equality. And, you know, as Linda Sarsour said, our prophet was the first women's rights activist when he announced woman age 9, right?
We're also getting reports that in Islamists are targeting a Catholic bookstore in France, claiming it's fascist for selling the Bible and Christian books and statues of Jesus and Mary. Kind of interesting that's reportedly happening now in France after Pope Leo told us we don't need to really fear Islam, that we can all get along and sing the Barney Kumbaya song together. I love you, you love me kind of thing, right?
I did enjoy that we should fear. It's not that don't fear. It's like we should fear Islam less. I'm like, okay, so you want to give me the exact measurement, Pope? Because I don't know. First of all, I don't fear Islam. But even if it was fear, what is your less? What is the measurement? After they conquer or as they conquer? When? This Pope is, again, as you mentioned, just being a Pope explains a lot about it, but he's definitely stepping on it. When I saw, it wasn't the Catholic bookstore, there was another report about a Catholic church in, I think it was Canada last week, that was set on fire. I mean, I was like, I can't wait to see when Pope is going to lecture the church people to tell them how they provoked this fire. Because that's where he's at. He will defend them. He'll defend Muslims.
Is he, I mean, this is the red-green axis. You and I have talked about that before. I mean, I think he's a commie. I think the Pope is a commie. And so that's my study of him. What are your thoughts? Have you studied the Pope enough to think that he's a communist?
Yes. Last year, if I'm correct, June 13, 2025, I published a Substack on this Pope. And I literally put the line of stop thinking we got to give him a chance to start thinking the parallel of the old Pope versus the new Pope and how much they have in common when it comes to socialism, communism, immigration, illegals, Islamization, all of that. I put a parallel line of he might be new, but the mindset matches exactly the old Pope. So don't get your hopes high. From Chicago or not, this man is not going to reverse the damages, but he's going to actually add to them. That was my take on him, yes. And apparently I wasn't prejudging him. I was just like you. I was following the pattern.
Yep.
And that's the interesting part, Brandon. Sometimes it's fascinating to me. I love human nature and human behavior. It's fascinating that people tend to think, like, Pope wasn't 18, right? When he gained this position. Like, why is it that we don't look day before him becoming Pope? Somehow, well, he wasn't in power. He didn't have he had to. He was forced to. All of those excuses are just fascinating. And then a year later, those very people who said, we got to give him a chance, are now saying, well, he's worse. Like, why did you need a year to come to realize his worse?
Let me go to another topic, if I dare, in closing. There's an article by our mutual friend Daniel Greenfield over at frontpagemag.com tonight. French town accused of Islamophobia suffers goat rape crisis. People have talked about, some of these Islamists, and used the term, you guys are goat rapers or in love with goats. And they've used this to, mock Islamists. And I guess people thought, that's just hyperbole. They're just being mean-spirited or whatever. But when I go and research these stories over the years, they turn out to be true, like this one here. Do you know why this is not a one-off for Islamists? Why do they do this?
So this one, I'll say it up front, could be debated, not at the root of the source, but as of who will practice it, who will not. But if you study the Islamic text, some of the things that is mocked are not taken serious are real. They are there, including that there's a time where Muhammad's soldiers go to him and say, we're at war, We don't have access to our wives. We haven't conquered any land for us to take sex as slaves. Should we castrate ourselves to kill the desire? And Muhammad says, no, that's a sin. Go find a goat, a sheep, or a camel and take care of your desire. I love the look on your face.
And where is that? In the Hadith?
In the Hadith, yes. It is in the Hadith. It is in the Tafsir. So that's where, you know, those of us who try to do it more properly, we say, you know, don't leave a camel alone with this Muslim soldier. Because, well, camels were more accessible back in the time than a goat or a sheep or something else, horse, whatever it was. But that's the thing. Now, they will argue, well, because Muhammad said that to stop them from castrating themselves. Well, I don't care why he said it. The point is he said it. And when in the Quran it says Muhammad is the perfect example of a man and you shall follow him, 1400 years later, somebody's not going to question why he said what he said. They're just going to say he said what he said, he did what he did. And therefore they do it.
Now, is this a debated? Are these hadiths debated as legit or not legit?
They're not debated by the schools or the muftis. They're debated by Western Muslims who want to make themselves look better. Yes, that's the thing. It's like drinking camel pee is a real thing. Muhammad suggested that as medicine.
He suggested that as medicine.
Yes.
To cure
these stories are not.
What was he trying to cure with that?
I believe it was a high fever of some sort of infection of one of his high-ranking generals.
All right.
And he basically said, drink the camel pee. And I'm sorry, to this day, I know there are areas in Saudi Arabia that do it. There are areas in Afghanistan that do it. Yes. And then again, another part of the debate is like, well, those were 1400 years ago. Today's advanced. Nobody needs to do it. Well, again, there's a toolbox. You have a toolbox at home. You don't use every tool every day, Brandon, do you?
I use it what every day?
You don't use every single tool that's inside your toolbox every day.
No.
And that's the thing with Islam. They may not use it every day, but it is in there and they are allowed to use it whenever they wish to use it. Including taking trophies and sex as slaves and raping animals.
Oh, I've been studying Islam with you guys a long time and I keep learning a lot. There's a lot to learn, isn't there?
There's definitely 1400 years to learn, yes. I still don't know all of it myself.
And that's saying something because you do this a lot. There it is, liveuptofreedom.substack.com, liveuptofreedom.substack.com. And if you go to liveuptofreedom.com, you can get her brand new book, The Architecture of Jihad, liveuptofreedom.com. There it is. And Annie will be a keynote speaker at not our Ozarks Worldview Weekend. We've moved it to Waukesha, Wisconsin. About half the tickets are already gone, folks. So if you want to, well, let's throw the image up there of who's going to be there. Anni Cyrus.
Alex
Newman, myself, Andy Woods, Patrick Wood, Erwin Lutzer. That's all off the top of my head, off the top of memory there. Am I missing anyone, boys? He's trying to find the graphic. So I think that's Anni Cyrus. So worldviewtube.com/events, worldviewtube.com/event. Oh, Sharam. Got to get Sharam in there. worldviewtube.com/events. About half the tickets are now gone. So there you go. You might want to get ready. It's free, but you have to have a ticket to get in the door. Okay? worldviewtube.com/events. All right. Annie, have a great weekend.
Thank you, Brandon. You do the same and stay safe.
You too. Thank you, Annie. And guys, we'll be right back after this break. Go to worldviewtalk.com. Get your satellite phone like I have, because you know what? China is in on our power grid. That is a matter of proven fact. If you want to have communications with your loved ones, your family, your children, maybe your spouse travels, maybe you have a child away at college, you want communication should the grid go down. That's why you need a satellite phone, worldviewtalk.com. But look what else they have. They also have solar generators. I have one of their solar generators. I have the Delta Echo 400, a solar generator. So I can, of course, charge my satellite phone. I can run my coffee pot. I can run my whole house if I want to. All the details are there at worldviewtalk.com, or use that number, 1-866-738-3224. They have very friendly operators that will explain to you their products, but you can explain to them what it is you're desiring to acquire. How much electricity are you wanting to generate with this solar generator? Well, they'll tell you what size you need. Worldviewtalk.com or 1-866-738-3224. Joining me now is Dr. Bashima Williams. Let's talk about what causes leaky gut. We know that leaky gut, inflammation is tied to so many serious health issues. So how do we prevent leaky gut? Well, we got to know what causes it. She joins us tonight. Dr. Bashima Williams, welcome back. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me on your show today, Brandon. And I'm so excited to talk about leaky gut and what it is, what causes it, and most importantly, what you can do about it. And really, honestly, why it's so important, what is happening when we have leaky gut, right? Mm-hmm. So I just did a lecture, and I'm actually doing another lecture at the autism conference here coming up in San Diego. So I had to put together, so I'm really focusing on gut health and how we can really sort of move the needle to health and wellness by improving gut function. And one of the most important things, it's not the only thing, but one of the most important things is to assess whether you have leaky gut, how severe it is, and what you can do about it. Now, we do testing for leaky gut, believe it or not. We can check zonulin, actin, LPS levels, antibodies levels, things like that.
Okay, wait, what is that? Is that all blood test?
No, it's actually some of it is a blood test, but some of it is also a stool study test.
And from that, you can tell if someone has leaky gut.
And how severe it is.
What will show up? What shows up, for instance, in the blood work?
So some of these antibodies that attack some protein called zonulin and actin. And if you go to the second slide that I have, Logan, that would be really helpful. The second slide shows the anatomy of a leaky gut, okay? So one of the most important things with the gut lining is actually the mucus layer on top that's actually help protecting and not allowing all these bad guys to enter your body. The things like chronic stress and chronic cortisol levels being elevated, or vitamin D and other nutrient deficiencies, poor gut microbiome, dysbiosis, all these things affect the mucus lining. The second thing you want to notice is there's little tiny, almost like bands between the cells. Those are called those are tight junctions. Those keep the junctions nice and tight. And so the cells are nice and sealed. Now, this is where zonulin and actin, things like that, attack your body. So for example, if I ate gluten, then my body might make more zonulin, which would then create what the right side looks like, which is holes or gaps in between the cells. So instead of the cells being nice and tight, they're like this. Well, what happens when they're like that is a whole bunch of things go through that our immune system. So if we don't have nice, healthy, tight junctions, we don't have a nice, healthy mucus on top. And also if our cells start looking sickly and kind of deteriorating, kind of like a, good healthy teeth versus, teeth that are, not healthy. When our cells that line our gut lining look like that, then they are not going to be doing the job that they're supposed to do, which is prevent a whole bunch of bad things that you're ingesting in your stomach and in your small intestine all day long. It's going to not do its job of keeping the outside world from the inside world. If you go to that first image that I showed you, Logan, or gave you guys, Logan, this is just sort of more of a visual of things going through. So on the right side, on the left side of this slide, you see all the things that cause, or some of the most common causes of leaky gut. And I'll tell you what, two of the most common causes are bacteria parts. So like, for example, when a bacteria dies and falls apart, it releases certain toxic chemicals. And one of the most toxic chemicals it releases is something called LPS, or lipopolysaccharide. Not to mention, if you have a really big hole, you can also then allow viruses and parasites and all sorts of nasty things in through the gut lining and to this other area here. We'll talk about that other area on the other side of the membrane in a second. But the other second biggest, another big thing in addition to also toxins, glyphosate, things like that. One of the biggest things that we allow in, day out, is undigested food. So for example, if you're eating an egg and it's going through your small intestine, traversing through your small intestine, one of the jobs of the small intestine is to provide digestive enzymes that breaks the egg down into amino acids. Once a protein is broken down into its basic building blocks, like amino acids, it literally can diffuse through some nutrients diffuse through the cell. Some nutrients go in between the cell, but it's small enough for it to do that. When a big globular piece of egg, it's not big by our definition of big, it's broken down quite a bit, but when it's not broken down into amino acids and it's still big globular protein and that goes through, what do you think happens on the right side of the membrane when we have a piece of egg or undigested food go through, or glyphosate or LPS? What happens is on the other side, and this might make more sense to people now, on the other side is your immune system. 70 to 80% of your immune system is having to deal with these toxins day in, day out. And it is the largest place, that is the largest area where your immune system is located.
So these actually then go through your brain.
Well, no, because the immune system is there and it kills it. But now we're overspending. You know, I think of immune system as currency. You only have so much, before the body starts to attack itself. So if you're attacking yourself day in, day out because you keep having undigested food going through a leaky gut membrane, wouldn't it make more sense to kind of protect your immune system and create nice tight junctions?
Yeah.
Which is why we use that L-glutamine that we have on our website. L-glutamine is a powder that helps support cellular health in the gut lining. And so really, really important to try to shut that down as much as possible. I take L-glutamine on a regular basis because I want to, just on a regular, I really don't have many symptoms. Certainly I don't have gut symptoms, but we know that it's when you have, you can have a rash and we know it's from your gut, right? A lot of times, of course, it can be ringworm, but a lot of times eczema and hives and an overactive immune system work with the gut, heal the gut first. So really, really important that we do that and to better understand what leaky gut is and where the majority of your immune system is, which is right on the other side of the gut lining, because it is having to defend against these things all the time. Imagine these things going to your brain, and some of it does go through, and your liver does have to do a lot of work detoxing and getting rid of that stuff. But imagine if a piece of egg went through and into your bloodstream.
What do you make of these people that are saying we have forever plastics in our brain, microplastics in our brain? Are microplastics getting through to the brain?
A lot of times when you have leaky gut or a compromised gut barrier, you will more than likely have leaky blood-brain barrier, okay? Now, the blood-brain barrier is even pickier than the gut lining, okay? The blood-brain barrier is so picky that you have to be really, really, really tiny to get through. But the worse we know that with science and research, we know that the worse your gut lining is, the worse the leaky blood-brain barrier. Blood-brain barrier was created by our maker to keep our brain area as sterile as possible because it is really, really sensitive to viruses and parasites and bugs and plastics and toxins and all sorts of things. So it really does a good job filtering and keeping that stuff out. But yes, you can get those, and it's really hard to get those forever compounds, whether it's plastics, phthalates, whatever it is, and those bind to receptors long term. They're really, that's why they're also called obesogenics. They cause obesity because of the way it affects and acts like a hormone in your body. Okay. It's like we have no control over what hormone receptor it's going to attack and forever turn on.
So you do believe these microplastics are a big problem too?
Oh yeah, 100%. In fact, I just got back from a mastermind in the Ozarks, which was beautiful. And it was a Christian-based mastermind.
What part of the Ozarks were you in?
We were actually in Branson.
Oh, yeah. Gorgeous.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Did you take in any shows while you were there?
Last year we did David. This year we did a river cruise. instead.
Did you do
just so we have more time to talk?
A river cruise? Okay, I don't know which.
Yeah.
I know they.
Or maybe it's a lake. Maybe it's a lake
Oh,
cruise.
you did
I
the
don't know. It's the
Branson
water.
Bell. You did the Branson Bell.
We did the Liberty Bell. Yeah.
Oh, the Liberty Bell.
Yeah, and actually, it's the same bell. Sorry, it is the it's the Liberty. I don't know if it's Liberty Bell, but it's
It's
boat.
a paddle wheel boat, right?
It's actually the boat they used in to get people off and on Staten Island. They actually moved that boat.
Oh,
They had
wow,
to
that's
cut it in
not
half and
okay.
bring-
The Liberty Bell or the Branson
it's
Bell is a
No,
is
it
a,
didn't have that.
Is a big
Steamboat.
Yeah,
No, it's not
and then
that.
do a show, theater show, stage show while you have dinner.
Yeah, there was no show other than a man singing, but there was no show. It was mostly so that we just have more time to connect. Christian business women mastermind, amazing.
So what were they
but-
saying down there about microplastics in the brain?
Yeah, actually, I was talking about something else, and now I can't remember why. I
You were
even
talking
brought
about
that up.
bottled water and
My roommate. My roommate said, "Hey, do you want some apple cider vinegar?" And we had been learning. She happens to be my social media person, and I'm like, "Yeah, but only if you use this water that I brought with me, not the plastic." I mean, I'm not going to do it. Period. To me, when I envision a plastic water bottle, I envision somebody putting like a tablespoon of dirt in there and shaking it up. Would you drink that? No. Just because you don't see the plastics does not mean you should be drinking it and putting it into your body. Just because they're visible does not mean they don't exist. You can taste them. You can smell them. In my opinion, I mean, that water doesn't smell good. And also I can taste, I don't know if I'm tasting plastic, but I'm definitely tasting chemicals while I'm drinking that water. So I'm not going to drink that water unless I'm, dying, then I need it.
So for people who go around with a plastic bottled water all the time, what do you recommend? Do you recommend any kind of bottled water sold in a glass?
Yeah, glass is great, and also steel containers. So that's all I drink out of. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Which has got my liquid IV in it.
That's awesome. Yep. So
look at this.
Yeah.
I'm losing more weight in the face. No Sprite for like
Yes.
2 weeks now.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I don't even have a craving for it.
Yeah, once you stop, you no longer crave it. And the reason why is because it was a habit. 95% of what you do and crave is because of the habits you've created. But you can also empower yourself with that knowledge and go, okay, I'm going to start doing X, Y, and Z for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and it will become your new habit. But you have to be intentional about changing. The secret sauce is this. If you craving sugar is super easy, okay, because it's sugar and our bodies are made to crave it so that we could survive back in the old days. Craving water is harder. It's so plentiful and so available, and it's also in your food and things like that. So, but you quench your thirst with all these other liquids that you no longer thirst for water. Thirst for water on a regular basis, and in 2 weeks, that will become your new habit.
Wow. So back to our slides. Do we have another slide left?
Yes, we have another slide. We have another slide here. And this slide specifically talks about the fact that there's more than just cells that help with digestion of water, absorption of water, nutrients, phytonutrients, amino acids, glucose. There's more than just what we call enterocytes in your gut lining. And if you see those different colors that are depicted there, those are other cells. This is just another reason why you want really good, healthy gut lining. And there's cells that make mucus in there, Brandon. They're called goblet cells. There's cells called panth cells that help protect your gut on the inside by releasing antimicrobial things that help kill the bad guys and bad things that might be trying to enter in. There's even enteroendocrine cells. Enteroendocrine cells are the ones that make a lot of the hormones that your body uses. Like, for example, in your gut lining, 90% of your serotonin or happy hormone is made. You have stem cells that help regenerate and heal the gut lining as it ages. You have so many other things in there, and they all have different functions that are all really, really important. So what I want people to see and visualize is leaky gut, super important for all things, not only gut-wise, but also systemically, your body, your brain, your health. But blood-brain barrier is also connected to leaky gut. Immune system is connected to so many things. It just goes on and on. This is a good place to start. If you want to change and start progressing towards health and wellness, a good place to start is to start sealing up that gut. We don't want a holy gut. We want nice and tight junctions that are nice and tight in between. This is where we really clean up our diet. Sometimes I'll have people go gluten, dairy, and egg free for about 6 weeks and then start reintroducing one thing at a time. That's why we have the Feel Good Gut Health course to help people walk through that journey. Also to educate more on what leaky gut is, why it's important, all the most common causes, things like that. And so that this is what we were talking about last week when we were talking about COVID infection and how there's theory and hypothesis now that actually show that COVID not only attacks human cells, but has also attacks bacterial cells, which is the first time we've ever seen a virus do that. And it's attacking those cells in a terrain that's already sick and inflamed. We want to have the terrain inside of our gut be as healthy as possible. This is not the only thing you do to do that. Of course, diet, nutrition, all sorts of things play a role in this. What type of bacteria you have, all sorts of things. But this is a good place to start. And a good place to start with this is not only changing your diet, but also going on that supplement, the L-glutamine supplement powder that we're highlighting this week on your on worldviewvitamins.com.
It's all there. Let me go there. Worldviewvitamins.com. Worldviewvitamins.com. Here it is. We've made it very simple for you. There it is. Right there. Easy to find. Right. And then what we're encouraging you to do is start with a foundational pack. Women's Daily for 50 plus, the Men's Daily, the Women's Daily if you're under 50, and then the Teen and College Daily. So start with a foundational pack. And then you can add these other things as well. It's that simple, right, Doc?
Yeah. And if you scroll down just a little bit further, you will see that we actually listed the course there because we go down a little bit further. There it is. Just start the protocol, start the course. That is, and you have a code there that you use Worldview at checkout so you can get a 20% off discount. That a lot of people are asking about the course because we keep talking about it.
All right, so go there
it is.
On the homepage, scroll down. So here you are, scroll down at the bottom, view the course, and then when you check out, use the code Worldview and save 20%.
That's right.
And this just got launched, right? Because this is the first time I'm seeing it.
It just got launched on this website in this way. We've been doing the course for several years now.
Okay. But now finally available.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Well, we've had a lot of people ask about it. So we are trying to make everything as easy as possible. And also so we don't get so many phone calls because, we only have so many people working for us. Brandon.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Your people are your listeners are very inquisitive. I love it. Because it makes me think, okay, what could I have done better next time? How could I have explained things better next time? And so I really like that. I really hope these pictures that we shared today are helpful in terms of just showing what leaky gut is, what gets through, and why it's important, and how it activates the immune system over and over and over again. And then on the flip side, what you can do about it. Using the L-glutamine powder is a very easy and good first step, in addition to changing your diet, nutrition, and also impacting the gut microbiome. If we can impact the gut microbiome with our nutrition, then guess what? They start making things like, for example, they start producing short chain fatty acids, which upregulates something called Treg cells, which are the regulatory and balancing part of your immune system. Your immune system, we don't want it to be so overactive where we're chronically inflamed and tired, but we also don't want it not reacting at all where we get a whole bunch of diseases. We want a nice balance. And believe it or not, the gut microbiome plays a huge role in that. Believe it or not. I mean, it is just mind blowing. The more I research the gut microbiome and the gut in general, the more blown away I am. And the reason I keep researching it is because we keep helping people, and it just keeps, it just never gets old.
Let me ask you this. When am I going to get my little blood thing so I can take my blood and send it in and we can find out where I'm at?
Yeah, I think I sent the instructions to Logan, the company to Logan. You have to sign up for that one on your own.
Okay.
And also, we can
order it now. The thing we can order.
Mm-hmm.
Logan,
and
can we do that, please? Yeah,
I can help. I can walk you through that after the show.
Okay.
And then just to make sure that you get the right test and everything. And then also, they want you to sign up for a subscription, which is why we can't order it for you. However, you can cancel the subscription. You do not have to be on it forever.
Okay.
And then once we get the test results and we share them, then we can also share the company and how they do it and everything they do at that time. I have used it on several patients already, and they love it. One, they don't have to get stuck with a needle, which the needle phobia is a real thing for some people. And then two, they don't have to go to a lab and wait.
That's my biggest thing. I just don't have time. So it's kind of like my glucose monitor. It had that needle on it. I just put this on it. It grabs a little bit of blood, and you're done.
Exactly like that. Yep.
So I could probably have this by next week.
Yes. And so some people like the subscription and they go every quarterly. They do it 4 times a year just to keep an eye on everything. And they will, we'll do some treatments. And so then they can actually
go back and check and see if it worked.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, we should do that, Logan.
The subscription actually makes sense if you're doing it quarterly, not if you're doing a blood test every month. That's not enough time for things to change.
Oh, they have an affiliate program. We might have to get in on that. Because people could do it and then supporting us at the same time they're getting their blood check.
100%. If you can do that, that would be awesome.
Hopefully they won't cancel us. We have so many different groups. They find out who we are and what we do, and then they cancel us. They shut us off.
I hope not.
Oh, it happened last week.
Oh, wow. With who? Which group? Well, maybe you don't want to say.
No, I don't care. It was a dog food company. All of a sudden, they just shut us down. Shut us down.
Wow.
Shut us down.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. People are.
Well, you know what? My purpose, my job is to empower people. I don't see anything wrong with that. Empower people and really help them understand that health and wellness has to be something that you do with intention. It doesn't just happen. Okay. And 2, fate for diseases is not necessarily something that's predestined and predetermined. It is something that you can do something about today with the daily decisions that you make. And I mean, just look at you, Brandon. You've quit drinking soda. You've quit drinking a ton of coffee. You've done so many things.
By the way, I still drink coffee, but I only do 2 cups a day.
That's fine.
Right,
but
I was
you're not
doing
doing
4.
it all day.
I'm not doing 4.
And then also you're not doing gluten because it was inflaming.
Yep,
it was inflaming your body. So you have made these changes, but what you did is you did one little thing at a time. You didn't just go from this to this where you are now. And neither did I. I went one step at a time. And that's what my expectation of my patients that I work with is that we do what you're capable of doing. Some people want to do 5 or 6 things all at one time. Some people can only do 1 or 2. And so we kind of meet you where you're at. And then also we want to do it in a safe way. But this is my job. This is my mission, is to really empower people to really see for themselves that they can control their health and wellness. You have so much control. I used to be in fear of getting cancer or something else. And then I realized that, wait, I have control over it. And do you know the number of cancer patients I diagnose now with my patients doing what we tell them to do is very, very low compared to the general population.
Wonderful.
This is what functional medicine does for you. This is not weird. I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years and it's getting bigger and better, not the other way around. You know what I'm saying?
As far as being able to, stop things from happening.
Right. Bad things.
What about Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's?
All of it.
What are signs? Do you know of any signs? I was reading an article today, signs that you might, be moving toward Alzheimer's or dementia in your future. And it was like violent dreams, acting out violent dreams. I don't know if anything's true, but so apparently you don't get a good sleep. You don't get into a good sleep, is what I was reading between the lines on that one. What were the other ones? I wish I could remember the other ones. Constipation. There was a couple others in there. There were 4 things they mentioned. Does any of this ring true with you as far as long-term symptoms that say, hey, if you don't get these things fixed 20, 30 years from now, you're going to be looking at Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's?
Brandon, we are so above that right now because we now have the power of genetic testing. So we actually genetic test to see what you're high risk for. Okay. So we want to be helping you prevent dementia 40 years before you would even have a bad dream that was very vivid and very much disrupting your sleep. So we then educate our patients who are high risk on like the top 10 things to do to prevent dementia. For example, increase BDNF in your brain, BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which helps with neuroplasticity, neurogenesis, which we didn't think we could even do, 15 years ago. So genetic testing, super important. It's about $400, not a big deal. And you get all of your, a lot of your genes, and you can certainly start to put them into things like high risk for oxidative stress, liver detox issues, memory issues, cardiovascular issues. What cardiovascular issues? Lipids, hypertension, muscle recovery. There are some people, Brandon, that can't work out more than 2 days in a row because of certain genes that they have. They are so achy the next day. And there are certain things that we can do to help with that. And ironically enough, it all starts with your gut and your nutrition. We obviously recommend sleep and all that kind of stuff. Now, the constipation thing, that is most commonly associated with 10 years prior to an official diagnosis of Parkinson's. But instead of fearing Parkinson's, you look at yourself and you're like, what is Parkinson's? Parkinson's is the same thing all the other diseases are. That is why we had such a big show on oxidative stress. We had a show where we talked only about oxidative stress and having that imbalance between oxidation and something called redox. Redox is anti-inflammation. Oxidation is inflammation. So we have to balance those. We don't want none. We don't want no inflammation, but we also don't want inflammation being at the top of the bucket, high all the time. And what causes all that? Toxin exposure, heavy metals, glyphosate. There's people that work and are exposed to toxins all the time. For example, our farmers and our people that are laying the tar down on all these roads that we're driving on. These people are being exposed to high amounts of toxin that they're inhaling in, day out, and or it's being absorbed through their skin. But what we have to recognize is there certain higher disease patterns that we see in these populations? And the answer is overwhelmingly yes, there is. There's certain types of cancers with farmers that they have a higher percentage of. There's certain types of neurodegenerative diseases that are higher in people that are exposed to toxic inhalants on a regular basis. So yes, you want to decrease your toxin exposure. You want to increase your good nutrition. You want to decrease the high processed foods. While we're saying all these things, the end result is at the cellular level, can you clean up the mess that your cell is making? In other words, can you create an environment that's clean? Your cell's constantly making things that increases reactive oxygen species, or ROS. Every time you make energy using glucose molecules, a dirty energy, you're going to make reactive oxygen species. How well and how fast can you clean them? Do you give your cells a break every day? Do you fast every day so that your cells have a chance to self-clean out? That's the whole process behind autophagy and cellular health. This is what we're talking about when we say, we teach you to do all of this stuff, but you do what you can at the rate that you can do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Well, we've
and
had
supplements.
Yeah.
These supplements are a big part of it. The omega-3 supplementation, I put all my patients on that because omega-3 helps improve the inflammatory the inflammation that happens sometimes with your body.
Wow.
Can you hear my dog?
I can hear your dog, but it doesn't barely hear your dog. My dog's over
I
here
love
asleep.
this microphone. Wow.
I know, that's a very good noise canceling microphone because I barely hear the dog. Oh, yeah. There's been a big year. 2025, 2026, this last 12 months has been a big 12-month period. And we've made a lot of improvements. We'll see where it goes. But looking forward to getting my blood tested quarterly. Let's see where it goes.
That's right. Exactly.
Logan, let's work with the doc. Let's get that done because I'd love to see the results. We'll put it out on the air.
Yeah, and Logan should do it too, Sue, and Melissa, so you guys can all three of you guys see who's got the best results.
Wow, that'd be fun.
I mean, it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, Logan, let's do it.
I vote for Melissa.
Yeah, she's pretty disciplined and she does all the healthy stuff and
Yeah. Although Logan is younger, so
Yeah,
you know.
he is. He's younger. He just turned 23 last weekend.
Wow. Oh wow. Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Logan.
And I will be 57 next week.
Oh wow. Well, happy birthday today.
Oh, you can tell me next week. Let's see. What does the 26th fall on? That falls on Sunday.
Sunday.
So a week from wait a minute.
Yeah, 1 week. 1 week from tomorrow. 2 days. So 8 days, 9 days.
Yeah. 1 week from this Sunday. 57. So I don't mind. 60 is going to be a little bit of a shocker. That's a
I
hard
agree.
number. You haven't crossed 60 yet, have you?
No, you and I are the same age.
Okay.
You're about 5 months older.
Okay. I don't mind saying I'm in my 50s, but 60 starts to be like, oh, wow. Oof.
I agree.
Do you agree?
I agree. I agree 100%.
I have a family member of mine who shall remain anonymous is having a really hard time. She is having a really hard time. Not Melissa, someone extended family member having a very hard time turning 60. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
But they say it's just a number, so I'm going to hear from people in the audience right away saying, "I'm 83. Are you kidding? To be 60 again? It's a wonderful number."
Right.
So that's the thing about being on talk radio and talk TV. You better get thick skin because no matter what you say, someone's going to email you about it.
I will say this, one of my goals with biohacking my body and helping others do the same.
Biohacking your body. That's something I've
biohacking.
Never heard that before.
I mean, I like to biohack my body because I want to biohack the cells so I can make them healthier.
Okay.
So that they don't mutate and turn into cancer and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I love about this is that the more I do it, the more hope it gives me that when I'm in my 80s, I'll still be hiking. That's my goal. I don't want to be sitting on a couch. There's nothing wrong with that. And praise God that I know what I know right now. But if I can
There's nothing wrong with sitting on the couch. Boy, she doesn't want to offend anybody, apparently. Let me just throw that disclaimer in. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
But I will say this. My mother-in-law, that's all she did all day long, sit on a couch.
Is she still living?
I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, please. And so it wasn't.
Wait, are you not worried she's going to hear this?
Well, no, here's the good part. Okay, here's the good part. I said, and her name is Donna, and she's one of the sweetest.
Donna. That's an old Ricky. What was the guy saying Donna, Logan? He died in a plane crash with the Big Bopper in Iowa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I know too much. I know way too much pop culture. It was the Big Bopper. What's his name, Logan? Ricky Valentino or something? Look it up, Logan, please. They died in Mason City, Iowa, I think. Their plane took off and crashed into a field. Who was on that?
God.
Buddy Holly, was he on that one too? Logan, are you even listening tonight? You're Googling. Takes that long. I'm gonna test my brain. I'm gonna test my brain, Doc. I won't forget where we're at. I think Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and Ricky Valentine or Valentino or
Valentino.
What was his name, Logan? Were those three on the plane? Oh, Logan, you're slow tonight. Buddy Holly, I got that. Richie Valens, that's him. Yep, he sang the song Donna. J.P. Richardson, that was probably the pilot.
Wow.
The Big Bopper. So I did
Ricky
have it all right.
Valentino.
The Big Bopper.
Well, Ricky Valentino did not.
No, it wasn't Ricky Valentino. It's Richie. Yeah. I couldn't remember his name fully, but I get credit for getting close and remembering his song.
I'm impressed.
Oh, who was Logan? Are you not on the mic again? Get so tired of having to repeat you.
The Big Bopper is
the Big Bopper
Richardson.
Okay, the Big
pilot. That's his real name.
Okay, that was his real name. The Big Bopper's real name. Okay, so your old man has still got his memory pretty good. It was the Big Bopper. It was Buddy Holly, right?
Yep.
And Richie
Valens.
And they crashed in Mason City, Iowa. I think it's just north of Ames, Iowa, in a field.
Yeah, it says near Clear Lake, Iowa.
Near Lake, Iowa. I think that's just north of Ames, near Mason City. Anyway, I distracted you. Are you falling asleep? Are you getting sleepy?
Huh?
I
mean, I have been Literally, I've not had a break since 5 a.m. today.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, we won't keep you, but
I want to tell you the story about Donna.
I distracted you because you said Donna,
Yes,
and I went
yes.
into the song by Richie, which, by the way, there's the plane crash. Look at that right there. Investigators look over the side of the plane crash. It killed Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and Richie Valens.
I'm impressed.
1959. By the way,
I can't even tell you 10 singers today.
Oh, I know way too much about pop culture singers. I love music, as you know, and singers. And
I can tell you football players, though.
No, I can't tell you squat about football players. Nothing.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be a guy that got on the plane, Logan, a famous guy was supposed to get on the plane, but he didn't, and he traded his seat for the rest of the guys who were getting on a bus that didn't have heat, and it was going to be a miserable drive. And he said to his friend who was, I think, sick or coming down with something, you take my spot on the plane and fly on the plane. I think if you read him.
Waylon Jennings.
Waylon Jennings. He was supposed to have been on that plane.
That's it.
Who did he give his seat to? He gave his seat to Buddy Holly, right?
He gave his seat. He was a member of Buddy Holly's band, the Big Bopper, and Rich, let's see, Killing. Nope, it doesn't say who he gave.
He gave his seat up to the Big Bopper.
Richardson. He said Richardson had the flu.
Richardson, which is the Big Bopper.
Yeah. Yep.
So otherwise we wouldn't have Waylon Jennings.
Yep.
We wouldn't have the song Rubenbog, Texas. Waylon Jennings and the Boys.
Wow.
We wouldn't have had the Highwaymen. You know who the Highwaymen are?
No, but
the Highwaymen. That would be Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, right, Logan? Check me on this. The Highwaymen would be Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, the ponytail guy, Willie Nelson, and I'm missing one. I think Chris Christopherson. Those are the Highwaymen.
Wow.
And Chris Christopherson, by the way,
you have no signs of dementia. I will say that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Chris Christopherson, by the way, wrote a ton of songs.
Wow.
People would be shocked at how many songs. I think he just died recently. People would be shocked.
Do you know who I just met?
Who?
You know who I just met? I just met a girl. Her name is Lisa, and let me tell you her last name. And she wrote a song called "God and My Girlfriends." And guess who sang that song?
Who?
Guess who picked it up and sang it?
Who?
Reba McEntire.
And what's the song called?
It's called "God and My Girlfriends."
God and My Girlfriends.
And the reason why
that's
she
Logan's
wrote
favorite song, by the way.
God and My Girlfriends.
Singing that yesterday afternoon. I caught him singing it.
Okay, so I went to this Christian mastermind, and she was there, and her name is, I want to tell you her name so you can look up the other songs she sang. She's absolutely amazing. Her name is Lisa Hentrick, Hentrich.
I don't think I've ever heard of her.
Well, she's the writer.
She's the writer.
Author. She's like, she wrote the song. She wrote a whole bunch of songs, but that song got picked up when I guess Reba was going through some tough things. I don't know, like a divorce or something. Yeah, divorce or something. I don't know. But anyway, let me tell you my story about my mother.
We got to get back to Donna. I got distracted by the guy that sang Donna, and that's
I am impressed. I am impressed that you, and listen, this is important for people to hear. Your memory and your ability to retrieve information, and then also the speed of your memory, and also calculation skills and things like that. So as an aside, if we're talking about dementia and prevention of it, one of the biggest things you can do is you can definitely sleep, exercise, things like sauna, nutrition, avoid the sugar. Sugar is horrible for your brain. It loves it, but then there's a lot of things that happen systemically that will make amyloid more likely to deposit in your brain and cause dementia. So yeah, I have a top 10 list. We can talk about dementia next time, but we can really focus on what you can do to prevent it. But Donna was sitting down in a low seat and wasn't able to stand up. So finally, and so we're talking about people in their 80s sitting on a couch all day long, so that's all they can do. And so I said, Donna, please start doing the personal training I told you about. Like, what are you going to do with your money? You're going to die with it. And then we get it. Like, we want you to use your money, right? And so we encourage her to get the personal training, and she did. And she actually, within 6 months, sent me a video where she's holding a 10-pound ball, standing up and sitting down from a chair, whereas before she wasn't even able to push herself up. That is a really big deal, and a big reason why I'm telling you this story is, while I did make that disclaimer, if that's what you like to do, sit on a couch, that's great. But if it's not what you want to be limited to, it is never too late to start.
Yeah, well, I need to move more. Melissa said yesterday, "You're not moving enough." I said, "Babe, I moved to the news desk. I moved to the car. I moved to the couch. I moved to my personal study desk. I moved to all those places."
Yeah.
She didn't think it was very funny. She actually
I don't think it's funny. I don't think
she's
it's
not
funny
laughing either.
because
She's not
yeah,
laughing
but
either.
here's the thing. Exercise is a free drug. It's a free drug. Just start walking 2 miles every day with your wife if you're not doing it already. And then also, if you can, there's a free app called 7-Minute Workout. The 7-Minute Workout app. Just do that every morning. It's calisthenics, but it's at least something that'll help produce muscle. And it's a good place to start. Once you get started, then you can keep going and going and going, but you got to at least get started somewhere.
Oh, I know.
I bet Melissa loves hearing me tell you that.
Yeah, she does. She was like 2 days ago. I couldn't remember something. She's like, "You're not getting Alzheimer's or dementia, are you?" I'm like, "No, babe. You know how much I remember live on the air?" She expects me to remember trivial stuff. I know what it was. I called one of our dogs by a dog we had 20 years ago.
Oh, wow. Well, that's okay.
Is that okay? I do that all the time. I call the one dog by a dog 20 years ago.
Well, it just goes to show you how in love you were with that dog 20 years ago.
That too. I also called different things that we had before by the wrong name. I said the other day, instead of taking my Bella Grace, I said, I got to take and I named a supplement I took years and years ago. I recalled that name. I don't know why I'm fascinated. I got to let you go because you're going to fall asleep. I don't know why I'm fascinated by this plane crash of the Big Bopper and the rest of them. But listen to this real quick. Here we go. Go with that, Logan.
There's a lot to be fascinated
around 1 a.m. and disappeared into the night sky. The pilot never radioed for help, and the aircraft impacted the ground just a few miles from the airport. There's just one name missing from this memorial, and that's why this is the story of the young pilot and the terrifying mistakes that killed Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and JP the Big Bopper Richardson. My name is Hoover, and welcome to your pilot debrief.
All right, we won't go into all that. But you know what? The pilot was really young. He was super young. I've watched several documentaries on those guys. I've been right around that area by Mason City, Iowa, where it took off. And I have been by that area so many times over the years, traveling and speaking and everything else. So I know exactly where that's at. But yeah, Waylon Jennings. Yeah, here it is. Look at this. Let's hear this. This is kind of interesting. Listen to this for just 1 second. Waylon Jennings. You going to talk? Come on, guys. Boy, that's a long lead.
Moved from his hometown to Lubbock, Texas, where Waylon worked as a radio DJ. He also renewed an old friendship with a Lubbock native who was at the center of rock and roll excitement, Buddy Holly.
Buddy and I, we had a great time together, and he's what I called an upper. He was always laughing.
And Buddy was the first one really to take a big interest in Waylon. And in fact, he took him over to Clovis, New Mexico, and paid for his session. For somebody to do this, Buddy had to think an awful lot of Waylon.
When Buddy Holly signed on for a winter dance party tour in 1959, a dispute with his manager caused him to work without his regular band, the Crickets. Instead, he hired 2 new musicians to replace them, Tommy Alsop and Waylon Jennings.
So he came in and he threw this bass at me, and I caught it. He said, "You got 2 weeks to learn to play that thing." So I memorized, not learned to play.
Buddy was the big brother.
Well, that's something. Well, he got on that plane that night, and that was it. Fascinating. So many of these people die young. My wife was saying that the other day. It's amazing how many of these famous people die so young. And if they don't die young in tragic accidents, here's the other thing she's brought up many times the last 12 months. How many of them die from drug overdose and alcohol and substance abuse? They have all this money, all this fame, but they are the most miserable people in the world, and they turn to substance abuse. and they die early or destroy their lives. Sad.
Yeah. You know what, though? There's a lot that are, it just goes to show you, it's a great example of money does not buy you happiness. It is definitely, there's a higher power. There's a peace about it too. So yeah, it's definitely not just money.
Nope.
Or lack of money. So.
Well, there you go. You learned all about the Big Bopper.
Right. Yes, thank you.
Richie
and you learned all about
Valens.
And you learned all about and you learned all about leaky gut. So
I learned all about leaky guts. We make quite the team, don't we, Logan?
Yeah, we do.
And we found out that Logan, you met the person that wrote Logan's favorite song, "God and My Girlfriends." So there you go.
Yeah. You should play it tonight.
I think I will. I'm tempted to hear what that would sound like.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
I will listen to it just for you to see what it's like. In the meantime, I guess we'll visit next week, get some sleep, and worldviewvitamins.com. Get on your basic, folks. Work on your health now, so a few decades from now, you won't be going, I wish I had listened to Dr. Bashima and Brandon House back then 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
That's right. Seriously.
Lord willing, I'll be 90 years old still sitting here.
I hope so.
Logan, 90 years from now, or excuse me, when I'm 90, how many years from now is that, Logan? I'm 57. Let's do the math on that real quick. 90 subtract 57 next week. That's 33 years from now. You're 23. So I'll be 90, Logan, and you'll be my age right now, 56. When I'm 90, you'll be 56. So I'm 56 right now. So when I'm 90, you'll be my age right now. Can you imagine sitting in there and you're producing my show still and I'm 90? He's laughing.
We'll see. You never
He's
know.
like, God, what have I done to deserve this?
Yeah.
I'm still sitting here listening to him. What's that? What are you guys saying in there? We're the same room, the same equipment. He's wearing the same suits, which, by the way, that's not going to be hard to do. I have some suit coats that are probably 20, 25 years old. Someone said to me the other day, you have a nice collection of suits. I said, that's one of the advantages when you maintain the same weight pretty much and you get older, you end up with a beautiful collection of suits because you can keep wearing them. Some of my suits, someone commented on one of my suits. I was out around town somewhere. I can't remember where it was. And the guy, I was actually over in Alabama. And a guy said to me, I love that suit coat. And I said, well, thank you. He said, it's just really sharp. And I said, well, thank you. I said, it's 20 plus years old. He couldn't believe it. I said, yes. One of the advantages of being older, you just keep collecting suit coats. You get to keep wearing them. Unless, of course, your body weight goes up and down, right? Which I haven't done.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and if you get a good quality one, it'll last forever.
That's right. High quality.
Yeah.
All right. We could go all night. Dr. Bashima Williams, worldviewvitamins.com. Thank you, Doc.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks, Logan. You guys have a blessed weekend.
You too, my friend. All right, guys, that's our broadcast for tonight. You appreciate what we're doing. Go to worldviewfoundation.com. Support what we're doing. See, we like to have fun, too. Laugh a little bit. And yet, at the same time, we're putting out great programming. Gut health tonight, folks. There you go. Roll the music. Let's call it a night. Worldviewvitamins.com. All right. Sunday night. I'll be back, Lord willing, Sunday night with my Bible study as I continue through the book of Daniel, Daniel chapter 3. I should be able to finish up chapter 3 this Sunday night. Hope you'll join us, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern Standard, right here at worldviewtube.com. Till next time, I'm Brandon House. Thanks for watching. May God save America. Take care.
Faith, spiritual values, moral issues, government, economy, education, work, responsibility. What we think about these depends on our worldview. Now, VCY America presents Worldview Radio with Brandon House.
And welcome to the broadcast. Glad you are with us. We are going to be joined in just one moment by Dr. Andy Woods. Dr. Andy Woods. Oh my. Tucker Carlson is at it again. It's almost becoming a daily thing now, folks. Another twisting of the Bible by Tucker Carlson. We'll get into that in just one moment. Did you catch the 2.5 hours last night? Went for 2.5 hours last night with Patrick Wood and Courtney Turner in studio. We were not planning to go that long, but the information was overwhelming, and we learned a lot online. Patrick was picking up his phone and taking screenshots of the 85-inch flat television that hangs behind the main camera here. I have a big, huge 85-inch flat screen TV that allows me to see, whatever you're seeing, whether that's this camera shot or graphics or video footage, so I can see the same thing. And Patrick kept pulling his phone out, taking snapshots of what I was putting up on the television for all of you to see, which was being broadcast on that 85-inch TV. And it was an article that neither one of us had seen before. And it's out of Tennessee here. And it's really shocking what's going on here. Now, we're going to release a full segment of this for all of you that didn't see it and those of you that want to share it with people. We're going to turn it into an article as well. But look, guys, I'm not trying to promote a book. It's not for sale. It's out of print. But I have to tell you, whether it's Religious Trojan Horse 2011 or The Coming Religious Reich 2016, and the books go together. They're like Grave Influence, Religious Trojan Horse, The Coming Religious Reich. It's like a trilogy. And in those books, I warned that one of the greatest threats to the real Christians is going to come from the right. That's why I called it The Coming Religious Reich. Reich meaning empire or kingdom. I talked about replacement theology, social justice, dominionism. And many of these groups are united through those ideas. And I warned that many of these so-called religious people, which have infiltrated so many so-called once evangelical organizations, will be siding up with the enemies of real Christians. And you know what's happening, folks? Just that. And you see it. Now they're building a compound, a series of compounds in various places around the country and the world, but they're building a couple of them here in Tennessee, not far from Nashville. And some of them are coming down from Minnesota, Waseca, Minnesota. Some of them are coming from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And according to the piece that I found last night, well, again, that's the great thing about producing television without it being scripted. We just get the conversation going. People talk and we all learn. And someone says something like, really? That's fascinating. Where is that at? Oh, Courtney says, yeah, they're building this kind of Christian commune over in Kentucky, right on the Tennessee border. And they're apparently, according to the press, a lot of them are disciples of Doug Wilson, Pastor Doug Wilson. So I put into a search engine, and sure enough, there was a piece from Channel 5 out of Nashville, Tennessee, a TV news program that had spent 3 months researching this group. We played it and went to the transcript, and it was worse than I even anticipated. No wonder the left is calling so-called Christians white supremacist. You ought to hear what they're saying, what they're joking about, according to the news station. And it's not like it's not documented because they brag about it on their podcasts. Now, what's very interesting, and I'll keep it short, these people, folks, I think what they're really building are 15-minute cities, freedom cities. What were they calling them last night? You guys remember what Courtney kept calling them? Something states. Something states. And we'll find it. But we don't mean states in like, oh, you're from Wisconsin. You're from the state of Tennessee. You're from the state of, no. These are, it's a word, we'll come up with it. Something states. And it means that you can go to an area and maybe you buy 100 acres and maybe you buy 50 acres. And they're buying this up, folks, over in Tennessee and Kentucky. Right on the line there. And then through some process, I guess that's now available, you're able to network states. Thank you. Network states. You're able to develop a community based on your ideas. I guess David Koresh was just ahead of his time.